Welcome back. You're watching Question Time, and my guest is Mr. A. Vellayan, who is the Executive Chairman of the Murugappa Group. Just before the break, Vellayan, we were talking about the marrying, as you're seeing over time, between agriculture, the needs of agriculture, and the marrying of finance. So explain this, because it is a huge market.
Yeah. You know, as we got into the retail and agriculture and set up these 500 stores.
Over and above just selling fertilizers.
Yeah. We got into all inputs. We are not in the output side, we're all in the input side. And ultimately in a couple of years...
So that would be seeds, pesticides, other stuff.
Yeah. And ultimately we'll have 1,000 stores across.
What are the stores
states.
called?
It's called Mana Gromo stores in Andhra, and it's called Pari Mayams in Tamil Nadu.
To leverage the Pari name.
Yeah, in Karnataka. So we're across Andhra, southern Maharashtra, northern Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. That's our beat. So what we found was that the economics of the farmer is what we were looking at, because unless he makes money, we can't survive. We can't keep increasing our fertilizer output, and he's not making money.
Right.
So when we looked at the economics, what we found was that he's paying either to the village money lender or to the dealer usurious rates of interest.
Absolutely.
Second, he's not having any access to insurance when it comes to crop or
even a small little general insurance for himself.
And the weather. And he's paying very high rates, and he's not access to proper banking. So what we started doing now, we started doing insurance, both crop insurance and weather insurance from our retail outlets. And we're picking up, it's actually happening. Soon we have tied up with some banks and started loading, giving them Kisan cards. And 70% of the Kisan card is used to spend in our retail shop. And it's actually happening. And this is at 12 to 14% interest rates. The guy was borrowing at 36%.
How do you do weather insurance, A, and B, having done it, how do you convince the farmer that he's not being ripped off?
Frankly, I can't go into the details of it, but we need time for you. You see, there are agreed and set policies, and it's a very regulated field, insurance in India. But I think the ministry is also subsidizing this. It's a very, we've only been through 2 seasons of it, so I don't claim to have a large experience. But I have a good feeling that it will work.
It will. It's worked elsewhere with farmers, and I'm sure it will. The issue is how to make it useful for them, but I'm going to move away. I'm going to ask you, and this must be a challenge to you as it was to your predecessor, Ms. Alagappan, as well as to Mr. Subaya. How do you manage, from a business point of view, not the family point of view, such a large conglomerate? So many businesses.
As I say, they broadly come under 7 areas of business. So each one of these has a managing director who's a professional, except in one case where there's a family member. They all report into broadly 3 lead directors, who one for the agro area, fertilizer and sugar, and the other for the financial services, and third for engineering.
So who are the 3 lead directors?
So we have my cousin Murugappan, who is the engineering side. He's also the vice chairman of the group. We have Mr. N. Srinivasan, who's for the financial side. He doubles up as a CFO. And we have Mr. Ravi Chandran, who is the lead director and vice chairman for Coromandel and EID Parry.
So he looks after the agricultural side and the fertilizer side.
So these 3, plus we have a group director HR, 4 of them report to me. All the MDs report into them. So it's a very small board, and I have with me a group which is a corporate planning and support group, which has industry experts across these 7 sectors. So I don't have to just listen to what they say, but I have a group which says, what is competition analysis, what is the economics, what is the reality here. So I think we also have a fairly good ESOP scheme for all our executives. And since we
How do you manage that? Because the ESOPs will be linked to their own company, or do you create a group level ESOP?
No.
I'm interested in knowing how, because how do you have an ESOP scheme in which a hardworking guy in Coromandel fertilizer doesn't feel that he is getting less for the same percentage of hard work as the financial services guy?
Well, if he's chosen to be in a particular business, that ESOP is specific to that business. The common ESOP is only for the corporate officers, which are really 3 of them. But large majority is confined to financial services or sugar or Coromandel. It's specific to that company. Because today the ESOP scheme itself can only be company specific. And fortunately, our market cap growth has been reasonably good, so people have benefited from it. And I'm not saying people are staying with us and working with us only for ESOP. It's only one part of it. I think we give a lot of freedom. Our whole board itself, only 2 family members on the board. The rest of it, actually we are in minority. Second is people,
as it should be.
Yeah, people have stayed with us also because we give them a lot of freedom. At the same time, they have the ability to play an entrepreneurial role. It is not left only to us to do that.
So I want to take you to family and business. This family has been a very early mover in trying to create a family council. I remember 10 years ago, Mr. Subaya, MV Subaya, telling me about all the things that he's trying to do of distancing the family with business, and he's still keeping the best people in the business. Take me through it.
See, I think we owe a lot to Dr. Ganguly, who was he advised us in how to do this, So how we have family and business and how we have the interface. And I think at that time, my father, late father, Mr. Arunachalam and Mr. Subaya were instrumental in putting together this corporate group and having the professionals come in and work alongside with the family members. And in between, we've also had some professional chairmen, so you don't have to have a family chairman.
So how do you ensure the following? So you have family members, and the great thing about family, given for a family, is that the nodes increase, because as you have more children, each have their own nodes, right? So there are more claimants to the income that is being generated by the business and the part of which that comes to the family. And there are also more claimants to saying, I too want to be a manager. So how do you ensure that the bad guys who don't have the competence to be managers don't get a managerial role?
I think the first thing is that we accepted within the family that value creation is more important than management. So as shareholders, if we found that some people in the age group or in the generation were better at value creation, they got the chance to manage. The rest of them, even if they were larger shareholders, they found their value was increasing, so they didn't complain. They may be managing smaller businesses. At the end of the day, they were better off.
But it's almost sounding like a fairy tale, because management is power. To say that I'm a shareholder and I get lots of income, but I don't take obvious day-to-day decisions, and I don't have my own plane and all, it doesn't feel good, no?
We don't have a plane now, so it doesn't matter. So, in fact, that's the point. That's how we keep it together. Because despite the fact that I may be managing it, my lifestyle as compared to somebody who's not managing it is pretty much the same. We drive the same car.
So
we have the same perks.
So tell me the rules about within the family. That is it the situation that anyone in the same age hierarchy? So right now you are probably the second senior most hierarchy.
Yeah, I'm in the 4th generation. So pretty much everyone in the 4th generation
will have the same
kind of perks. And yes, to the extent that I'm carrying a larger load, I will have an incentive to what I do. But otherwise, the base is
the flat perks, the flat part of it is the same. Irrespective of everyone in the same generation gets the same.
Absolutely.
So when I was very excited about all this, when Mr. Subaya told me this about a decade ago or something like that, I actually spoke to a cousin of your family who has nothing to do with the business. And you know who I'm referring to, I shan't mention his name. And he said, well, we'll see until a person decides to say this is not fair for him. Has it occurred?
Not yet. And, I'd like to meet this cousin of mine because I don't know who you're referring to, but I think it's working quite well.
And what's the comparison with Dabur? Dabur have also tried the similar things. Is it similar? Because you have more people in management than Dabur has. Dabur has nobody in management.
I think, I believe that the family has some genes in it which can be entrepreneurial, So if you take the 5th generation, there are a few of them coming into the business, and we are training them not to be managers, we are training them to be entrepreneurs. So we give them a total end-to-end profit responsibility, and that's how you train them to be entrepreneurs. I don't know too much about what Dabur is doing and how they do it, but I think, it's a different model for each one, different horses for courses. This is what works for us.
Let me take you to two observations. Is it changing now? Because at one point of time, within traditional Chettiar families, the women never worked in the business, as indeed in traditional Marwari families. Is it changing, or is it still more or less the dictum?
In our family at the moment, women are not working in the business, and for a good reason.
What's the good reason?
We believe that the girls of the family, when they marry into another family, it will do good for them to be part of their husband's family and not feel proud of where they came from.
What if a person didn't wish to marry in the family and wanted to stay as a single woman and continue and wanted to work in the business? Would you say, would the family council say, yes, she should?
For the present, it has not happened. And in the next generation, we have only one girl. So we'll all probably spoil her so much that she don't want to work.
So one of the Chettiar don'ts is that you guys ensure that the girls in the family don't work in the family business.
No,
Any other Chettiar don'ts?
No, they are involved in the social side of our activity. 2% of our profits every year go to managing, they have 6 schools and 5 hospitals, all in the areas of our activity where our factories are. They're involved in managing that.
Vellayan, this one you know perfectly well. I know what you're saying, but you know perfectly well this one's going to change, and this one's going to change faster than you think, because there will be girls who will want to do something in business, and they'll be damn good at it.
Sure, it's not that we are not willing to change. The political environment has changed, the social environment has changed. We are seeing that we have to be happy and managing in what we are doing. For the moment, we are happy.
On that note,
successful.
On that note, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show. That was an interesting ending to, even if I were to say so, to the interview with Mr. Vellayan and the view of the family on women. I'm sure you don't agree with him, but believe me, this is a fantastic entrepreneurial group. Thank you very much for watching the show. Till the next. See you.